At the time I am recording this video, there's a lot of really scary things going on. There's mass shootings happening all over the place. There's a lot of things happening in the government. There's a lot of things just happening in the world in general. There's so many really terrible things happening, and we are being inundated with these messages day in and day out. Like you can't escape it. It's all over social media. It's all over the news. It's all anybody is talking about. And it's leaving so many of us feeling so terrified and scared and helpless and feeling like we're in chronic danger. This has gotten so much worse with social media expanding the way that it has, with media channels and news channels being more and more incentivized to drop more and worse stories, and the absolute polarization that's happening right now between people. I mean, it's you're one or the other, and we have to hate the other. And if you're that, then I can't be this. And if I'm this, you can't be that. There's so much scary shit happening, and there is more division than there's ever been. And not because there's actual division, but because of the narratives that we're all being sold on, the ideas and the concepts that we're all believing, that those people are this and we're that, and therefore we're just so different and we can't actually be around each other. The purpose of this video isn't to dive into that. There's so many videos talking about how the media brainwashes us into believing that we're radically different than we actually are. This video is to talk about, what are we supposed to do in all of this? How are we supposed to navigate the world when all we're seeing is horror and gore and children being murdered, and people being shot? We're seeing so many terrifying and horrific messages, and we're supposed to watch these and yet still function as human beings. Our brains are not meant for this. I know that it's become a very normalized and common thing. You fall asleep listening to true murder documentaries or true crime. We watch horror movies on the news or through TV shows. We're seeing videos of people being raped and massive car accidents and dead bodies and bodies that are torn apart and whatever. But our brains, evolutionarily speaking, were not meant for this. Our brains are not meant to see these chronic, terrifying, gore, horrific pieces of content, but yet we're seeing it every single day. We're being inundated with these messages, and it's having really severe consequences on the functioning of our brain. Our amygdala, the part of our brain that's meant for like threat detection and fear, is constantly being inundated with all of these messages. And so that part of your brain grows. And what happens when that part of your brain grows and gets stronger is that now everything seems like a threat. Everything seems like a problem. That part is on super drive and hyper alert because it's constantly looking out for when the next terrible thing is going to happen so that it can keep you safe. The issue with that is you're constantly going to be thinking that there is danger afoot. I just got off a session with a client, and she told me that she's been watching a lot of these really scary documentaries, and now she sincerely thinks that this person she was talking to is somehow going to come find her and hurt her, even though she has no reason to believe that that would happen because he doesn't even know where she lives. And I know that might sound like an extreme case, but we are always calculating unconsciously the worst case scenarios. We are in a constant and chronic state of assuming that the worst possible thing is going to happen, that all people are terrible and evil, that something horrific at any moment in time is going to happen to us, even though probabilistically speaking, the chances of that happening are way lower than we think. But because we are so flooded with these messages, we assume the chances are a lot higher than they actually are. So if you're struggling, it makes sense. When you're constantly flooding your brain and your consciousness and your unconscious with messages that the world is in turmoil and everyone is dying and all of these horrific tragedies are happening all day, every day, even though they're not, but the media and all of these platforms need you to think that they are because that's how they make money. Of course, you're going to constantly be in a fight or flight state, in a sympathetic activation state, and you're going to be scared shitless because the media makes money off of you being terrified. When we're scared, we make impulsive decisions. When we're scared, there's more division. And then we're more easily controlled and controllable. So, from a mental health perspective, from a therapy perspective, what can you do? How do you navigate these really scary times when there's so many expectations being put on us of constantly be aware and you need to pick a side and you need to speak out about it and you need to do this and you need to do that? There's so many expectations being thrown on you that might feel so outside of alignment of who you are, and you're left dazed and confused, not knowing what you want, who you are, what you believe in, what's right, what's wrong, so on and so forth. So, what do? Number one, we need to help ourselves get to a place of acceptance and compassion. We need to accept the way that the world is, not saying that we're making it okay, but we need to accept the fact that we're scared. We need to accept the fact that we're struggling. This is a really scary time. There's a lot of shit going on, and we're chronically being flooded with these messages. If you're scared, that's okay. It makes perfect sense that you're terrified. And rather than shaming yourself and calling yourself weak or selling yourself on a story that there's something wrong with you, that you can't handle this, you need to give yourself compassion. Compassion for the fact that we are not supposed to be handling this. We are not supposed to be navigating this. Our brains are not meant for this, not at this level. We're being flooded with these very graphic messages and images and videos all the time, and our brain is not equipped to handle it. If you are struggling, you need to give yourself the compassion and the permission to not be okay, because it is really, really scary right now. And a lot of us have no idea what's really going on and what we're supposed to do. A lot of us also need to have a digital detox. And I know that's really hard for a lot of us because most of us spend our lives on social media, but we need to remove the messages that we are consistently seeing. And now I know a lot of people are going to say, well, aren't you supposed to be in the know? Aren't you supposed to know what's going on? Aren't I part of the problem if I'm not being constantly on my phone looking and seeing everything that's happening? Doesn't that make me a bad person because I'm not spreading awareness? No. The information is going to get out there no matter what. If you don't share it, how does that make you a bad person? The information is going to be seen anyways. But again, there are these massive expectations that we are supposed to be consistently and chronically aware and alert and involved, and you need to say something. But most of us don't have enough information to make an accurate decision about what's going on because all of the false information that's being put out there. None of us actually know what's really going on. So we're hearing these very extreme messages being put out. And then it's like, you need to pick a side. It's like, you don't have enough information. An intelligent researcher doesn't hear one piece of data and say, boom, that's the answer. We're being flooded with these very catastrophizing messages, and then we're being told, you need to speak up, you need to say something. But we don't have enough information to actually make an informed decision. And when we have pressure from other people coming that says, well, I'm not going to be in your life if I think you think this way, or I'm not going to be in your life if you're not posting on social media all of the terrible things that are happening. And when our number one core need is belonging, of course you're going to be terrified and you're not going to want to do it because you're not going to want to piss people off. But all you're doing is hurting yourself. You're keeping yourself in this doom loop of having all of these terrible messages thrown at you all the time, your brain going on super drive, and you being in this chronic state of panic and fear and anxiety and overwhelm. And then you can't make informed decisions and you can't live your day to day. There's a way to be properly informed without being inundated and enmeshed. I have a decent understanding of what's going on. And no, I'm not looking at the news every day. I don't watch the news at all because I know half of it is horse shit. I don't follow certain pages. I won't follow certain people because my consciousness, my brain health, my physical health is so important to me that I cannot have these messages being thrown in my face every day. Be informed, don't be ignorant, but don't be enmeshed. You can be informed without being enmeshed. And if somebody is mad at you because you're not doing what they think you're supposed to do, then maybe you and that person need to have a conversation about the unconscious and unrealistic expectations that they are putting on you. You are not obligated to do what somebody else wants you to do because they think you should, but you sincerely don't believe that it's what's right for you. You need to make it okay and give yourself permission to not know everything. You can be informed without being enmeshed. And it's okay to set boundaries with people and say, listen, I love you so much and I want to hear what you have to say, but I cannot have these messages on my feed and in my consciousness at all times because I can't live my life like this. I can't live my life seeing these horrific things. And I know you might I know you might think that that means that I don't care. And it's okay if you think that, but I know that that's not my truth. And we can have a dialogue about it if you want to. That's a beautiful boundary you can set with somebody. You are not obligated to do things that feel outside of alignment for you. And yes, people are going to try to pressure you into it. And that's where this third step really comes in. You need to learn emotion regulation. You need to learn how to cope and how to not get so gaslit and brainwashed and overwhelmed with the messages and the expectations and the desires and the wants and the needs of other people. You need to help yourself to feel calm and regulated and safe so that you can make informed decisions, so that you can get the appropriate level of data that you need, not using confirmation bias, not using, well, this is what my side believes, so let's just go with it, but actually getting the appropriate amount of information so that you can make an informed decision for you and so that you can live your life. Most of our lives are on hold because of everything that's going on. And again, there's this unconscious expectation that that's what it's supposed to be, because if you actually cared, then you would do that. How does that help anything? How is me not being able to sleep going to help anything? How is that going to stop what's going on with Israel and Palestine? It's not. It just ruins my life. So you need to help yourself to emotionally regulate, develop distress tolerance, set healthy boundaries so that you can figure out, okay, what can I do? How can I help? Are there charities that I want to give to? Is there more information I want to get? Is there, a way that I can get involved that doesn't ruin my life? Just because other countries are going through horrific things doesn't mean that I have to destroy my life. And that doesn't mean that that's the only way that you're caring. And this isn't just about what's going on right now. This is with anything in life. You don't have to ruin your life and ruin your mental health and your brain and health capacity in order to be in the know. We need to make it okay that we're struggling. We need to set healthy boundaries. And we need to learn how to emotionally regulate throughout all of this. This is how we make it through the day to day. This is how we get through struggle. This is how we become stronger and better able to make more informed decisions. And if you are struggling with this, you're not alone. That's why I'm making this video. I see 60 clients every single week, and every single one of them is terrified. And I'm telling you exactly what I've told them because it works, because it's the truth, and because this is how you get through difficulty, not through catastrophizing and scaring the shit out of yourself and inundating yourself with messages, but making it okay that you're struggling, setting healthy and appropriate boundaries, and then finding ways to cope. If you want help with this, drop a comment down below and let me know what's been going on for you, or you can send me a DM. And I'd be more than happy to talk you through this and to help you navigate. All of my information is down below where you can reach out to me. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel if this resonated. And I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.